Hello guys, and welcome to Ride VIP, the Retro channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about why it's not worth getting a Prius but a Tesla instead. In my mechanic's opinion, because I am a mechanic, I believe that the Prius is going to have a little bit more headache. And before you say like, whoa, that's a Toyota, let me explain to you guys everything you're going to have to worry about when it comes to owning a Prius. Some of these things you have to worry about with a Tesla as well, but not as much. Like, you will have double the headache owning a Prius. So in the beginning, of course, you're making all kinds of money, right, with a Prius, and you're like, everything's great. Same thing goes with a Tesla. Everything's going great. But at some point, you're gonna start getting breakdowns with both of those cars. But with the Tesla, you're gonna have to wait a while. It could be like 350,000 miles, especially if it's like a Model 3 or Model Y. They just last. They're really good. Okay, so let's take a look at the Prius. So you get a Prius. Prius is a hybrid, so it's got an engine and it's got electric motor and it's got batteries. So there's a lot more things to fail. On top of that, you're gonna have to do oil changes on your engine. If they told you you don't, you'll still have to. You got oil changes, you got brake changes, you got belt changes. You're still gonna need starters and whatnot, alternators, stuff like that. And that stuff is very hard to get to on a Prius because there's just a lot of technology back then. So it's not gonna be cheap to work on it. Also, you got catalytic converters, so used when they cut them off and they steal them. They're like $900 a piece on that car. They're very expensive. So imagine how much they are new. And it doesn't put out that much horsepower. It's a very weak type of engine anyways. So the catalytic converters are also they're so special because they're trying to catch all the smog and whatnot, right? So this is why they're so expensive. They got a lot of precious metals in them. So because your engine is not that powerful, a lot of that soot and everything will sit in that catalytic converter, and it's gonna clog it up, and it's just gonna make it worse and all, you know. So eventually, it's gonna come time where you do need to replace it, and it's gonna cost you money. On top of that, you got exhaust system. Exhaust systems leak sometimes as they rust, and you got like all of those problems you have to worry about. And it's a weak car that's like not fun to drive. It's nice and spacious on the inside, probably like a Tesla, Model 3. I've been in one before, and it was quite spacious. The new one looks pretty. Like the new Prius looks pretty. It looks almost like just a 100% EV car. But I think Prius would do a lot better if they have an EV option where you had a choice of just getting a Prius electric, you know. Especially with that look, it looks really nice. I'm not gonna lie. But because you have an engine, a transmission, you know, like different drive shafts, like for that particular engine, there's just a lot more components to fail. Because that car is basically like a regular car, except sometimes it shifts over and it uses a motor to try to operate. So the very first thing I want to point out, you got service and you got maintenance. So you got like lots of service, like I said, like oil changes, brakes, you know, stuff like that. When it comes to tires, you got to do them all in the car, so that's no different. See, with a Tesla, you got no service. You just drive the hell out of it. No oil changes. You don't need to really do any brakes if you use regenerative braking. You can just drive it. That's it. No exhaust coming out. No particulate filter. Like no catalytic converters. Like nothing to really worry about. Like no EGR. You know, all of these things cause issues with the emissions, you know, standards. Like they constantly, those things fail and they cost lots of money to fix. So there's no combustible engine inside of the Tesla. In a Prius, there is one. You could have anything failing, like from your spark plugs to your ignition coils to having like valve cover, gasket leaks, stuff like there's stuff that's gonna happen. Sure, Toyota's engines, they're made very well. It's gonna last you a while, but you're not getting away from service, and you will have problems like sooner than a Tesla. I mean, some Priuses, some Toyota engines, they start having problems that are around like 150,000 miles, which is not a lot. Honda engines have problems like that too. And then I had a BMW, and people thought like BMW is not reliable. I had a BMW with 270,000 miles. I literally bought it with like, I think like 200, I can't remember what it was exactly. It was like 200,000, I think it was. I put 70,000 miles on it without like any issues, you know. But I still replaced. I did service. I replaced stuff. So there was still time lost. So anytime you do service or maintenance on your car, just like any kind of service, first of all, that takes away from your day. That takes time. You gotta wait at somewhere at the shop in a waiting room to get that done, and you feel great when it gets done. But then you gotta do something else, and you gotta do something else, and you gotta do something else. Okay, so now with that out of the way, you also got an electric motor that's using batteries, and that's using other components that's electric. That also can fail. And the batteries on Priuses do fail. Motors and Priuses do fail. Sometimes it will not like start up or go anywhere. This is why they end up at auctions. People buy them and stuff. They can't figure out what's wrong, but usually it's something wrong with the battery, you know. Oh yeah, there's also a radiator that could leak. There's a lot of like, there's all this different stuff on the Prius. But anyways, batteries fail. They're also going to cost you lots of money to replace the Prius. So that Prius is going to be like a lot of headache. It's just not worth it. I know somebody bought one for $38,000. I could buy a Tesla right now for $38,000. Basically the same thing. Except I will get back $7,500 tax credit, while the Prius is not going to get anything back. And I don't have to worry about any service or maintenance. I'll get in, charge it, and go. Basically, I'm driving like a big giant cell phone with wheels. You know, that's just how it is. So to me, the Prius fuel economy doesn't make any sense. You're still spending all kinds of money. I don't know what Prius's fuel economy is, but you know, when I say I don't know what it is currently, but last I checked it was like 50 miles per gallon, which is great, right? But you're still spending money. So for me, and we're driving, by the way, in autopilot, for any of you that want to say something. So 450 miles a day, that's how much I would drive if I'm doing it seriously. Let's divide it by 50 miles per gallon. That's only 9 gallons that you're going to use. Sure, that's not a lot. You get the cheapest gas. It's going to cost you $3.35 here in South Carolina. You're still paying 30 bucks. 30 bucks. So you drive every day. That's going to be $904 that you're going to spend per month just on fuel. That's if you drive every day, okay? And I like to compare that, like, based on my own driving. You got your own driving to worry about. So now you got $904 fuel payment. On top of that, you got your Prius payment, okay? You got those two, okay? So a Tesla payment is going to be basically the worst payment you could get for a Tesla. That's $38,000. That's with the worst credit history, 9.9% APR. The payment's going to be less than $800, like $780 bucks. That's with a $1,000 down payment. So $800 bucks, and I don't have to ever worry about fueling it up or servicing it, like literally. So like, let's talk about like fuel. Well, let's say Tesla was as economical as a Prius. A Prius is still costing $904 a day to operate, while a Tesla costs $5 a day to operate. So $30 or $5, which one do you choose? So I've been going to Tesla Superchargers at night, charging it up, because I enjoy working at night. You guys know that. I've been working at night for the longest time. Tried to shift back in the day, wasn't as much money, but I work from 6 p.m. to like 6 a.m., you know, or sometimes longer. But anyways, with all that being said, I go to a Tesla Supercharger. I charge it 10 cents a kilowatt hour. I spend $5. And when I drive my 260 miles, and I gotta go to charge it again, I pop it on the charger again, I could charge it an additional, you know, for $3, and that's plenty for me to finish up my shift. Then, but you have to kind of think about it like this. I leave home on a full charge, okay? That is additional driving that I would need to do. So I come home, put in a charge, I leave home with 262 miles. I will drive them, right? Finish driving my 262 miles. Charge it full again, 262 miles. So that's like 524 miles that I would drive, right? But sometimes I run out of that, like a little bit. Like if I drove like way too much, I'll just pop it on the charger, like another like 10-15 minutes, and I get enough charge left, and then I go home, and then I charge it like fully. You know, that's kind of like what I'm doing. But anyways, lately I just been charging one time a day, $5. That's all it costs. $5.40, $5, $4.90. That's what it's costing me to charge it per day. That's it. And I don't know what it's costing me at home. I haven't checked with my electric company, but it's still going to be cheaper than some of these charging stations in the daytime. In the daytime, to charge a Tesla now, that's equivalent to almost kind of like having a Prius in the daytime, because some of these are like, let me see. I'll just tell you. If I want to charge right now at my favorite charging location, it's 37 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's no longer 10. So there's some that's 37, 28, 35, 32, 36. So that's kind of like what's going on. There's only one of them at 28 cents a kilowatt hour. Now these prices could fluctuate in the future as supply and demand happens. I understand. So this is something to think about. But if I charge 40 cents a kilowatt hour, let's just look at 40 cents, I'm going to spend $20. So it would only cost me $20 a day to operate a Tesla versus a Prius costing $30 for the same thing. So again, Prius is costing more. That is if I charge in the daytime. Because I know a lot of you guys, you're probably thinking about just charging the day, which one's better. So a Prius at that point will cost you $10 more, per day. With a Tesla, you get a much better experience. It's a much better car. It's a much faster car. It's a much nicer car. Just everything about it, it's better. So, I mean, I guess to each its own, right? Maybe somebody really, really loves their Prius. And I've been told in my comment section, buy a Prius, buy a Prius, buy a Prius, buy a Prius. And yeah, it does make sense if you get like a used one, right? But then a used one will have all kinds of issues. Anything from battery to like engine components, right? And I have friends that own them that had them for a while. They have a bunch of problems that they talked about. So because people ask me as a mechanic, they ask me about like various different things, but I'm not like a Prius specialist. But basic wear components in any car is your belts, is your brakes, is your starters and your alternators and your pulleys, obviously your radiator, your like thermostat could go up, because all those things are like basically about very similar components. So then you're gonna have transmission issues. If you got a CVT in your Prius, well, that CVT is gonna fail. Like Tesla doesn't have a transmission. CVT transmission, when it fails, that's $8,000. $8,000 right off the bat. Boom. Prius's batteries, they fail. I don't know what they cost, but they probably cost as much as a Tesla. And recently I heard, I think Tesla batteries really have came down. I really need to do research, but in one of the videos somebody said it was only like $13,000 to $15,000 for a battery. I mean, that's not as bad as $35,000, because I heard before like $35,000. But either way, I'm not talking about battery technology right now. Like, but if I will do my research on it, find out for myself what's the real cost. But at this point, I don't know, and I'm not gonna say something I don't know. So I stick to what I know. And when it comes to maintenance and like oil changes and stuff on a Prius, you're gonna have to do at least a couple oil changes a month at least. And if you take it to Jiffy Lube or whatever, you might need to do it even more often, because they're probably not even using full synthetic or whatever. So if you're using full synthetic, that's obviously going to be much better for your vehicle. I've used full synthetic, so sometimes I would go without an oil change. Well, I would not change it at 3,000. That's for sure. With synthetic, you could drive for 5,000 miles easy, or even 10 in some cases. So that's a lot better deal. But anyways, guys, if you think I missed something, if you think that I am wrong, feel free to write in the comments below. Trust me, I will not feel bad about it, like that I made a mistake or whatever. Like, you're not gonna make me feel bad by putting me in my place. Just tell me how it is. If you think I'm wrong about the Prius, let me know. But anytime you got an engine, you got batteries, and you got electric motors to worry about, there's just a lot more that can fail. And the least that can fail, the better. And I'm comparing this to Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, because Model S and Model X, they have way more problems, especially the older ones. The charging is not as quick, different components fail. But when it comes to reliability, Model 3, Model Y is the way to go. They're a heck of a more reliable cars than those. It's just the Model S and Model X probably a little bit more fun, since they're so much nicer inside. Like Tesla Model 3, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of the fake leather seats. Otherwise, like the seats looks great, like especially like the white, they'll really look good. But these are fake leather seats, and not a fan. I'm looking at some of this stuff. I'm not a fan of these this designed features. A lot of this stuff is just very cheap quality. On the outside, they've done a really good job. On the outside, I've really enjoyed. But when it comes to buying myself a Tesla, I'm going to talk about it in the next video. Either Tesla Model 3, Model Y, or like a performance version of those things. There is a refresh that's coming up in about a couple of months, and I don't know whether I should wait. I'm probably going to wait. So, but anyways, guys, talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.